Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me again for another episode of the Apostle Obsonate playthrough as I subscribe. As always, I am your host, System Chalk. So, I am actually a little groggy in making this. I believe where we left this off previously was we were going to be cleaning up the remaining two, technically three, expeditions on the continent. Sorry, is this the continent? Yes. And then we'd be moving on to what we have. Eventually, I'll also be upgrading my my lore, although I've got quite a bit to work with in my study right now, so that's less important. Now, we had some bad luck in terms of my status at Glover and Glover. Before I could really start to take advantage of my my board position, we ran into some situations where we were generating quite a bit of notoriety, and so I'm going to have to clear that out before I consider going back to work in that position. However, that's kind of counter to what I'm trying to do right now, which is to go on these different expeditions. So right now I'm sitting on a fairly, I'd say a pretty reasonable amount in terms of funding. I shouldn't be too scared of going on expeditions. But one thing that would be worth considering would be I'm going to make the most of my work slot. What else do I have coming up? So we're running out of the Savorous Blood, so that's gone in 70 seconds. I don't believe we have any. We do have a dread that we've got, so it would be nice if I could try and find a way of getting some contentment. I suppose the Ecdysis Club is open to me now. You know what? Let's deal with this the old-fashioned way. The entrance is lost beneath the soft drapes of crimson cinnabar and Cardinine. Above the door, the club motto, Ingi rum imus noc teet consumi merigni. It has been rendered as, into the night circle we fly until the fire enjoys us. Although, now that I'm looking at it, what would I do with my Callagines, which are going to expire? So, you know what? I'm not going to do that. We don't have evidence against us at the moment. So what I'll do, this is going to be wasteful for the expedition, but I will throw a couple of Callagine in. Okay, Chateau Raveline. The favorite stories of the Comte de Raveline claim they have descended from the first Sun King. Other stories have them prowling in the forest in wolf shape. They are long gone. Their rotting chateau remains. Not all of its malignities have been uncovered. So the remote and rotting chateau of the Comte de Raveline was looted long ago. We have found hints that it was not looted thoroughly enough. There may be a secret room. Equally, there may be a curse. So it would suggest to me that we're really looking for Lantern, Knock, and possibly Heart here. So the Callagine's really not going to be helping me out, but I do want to try and preserve it. And then we'll just see if we can keep my followers ahead of the game. Now, let's think about how I'm going to deal with my dread. I think in this case here, I'm going to rely on my... Wait a minute, do we have a season? We do have a season of suspicion, so no relying on my reputation. Well, I could go back to physical labor, but I potentially hurt myself now. I'm going to do it though, because I do want to earn some money. And then let's just dream with passion and hope that we might get a contentment. Of course, we may also wind up with a dread from that, but that's life. The Vincent inscriptions. Everett Vincent inscribed these from a cliff in Anatolia, where he famously survived a lightning strike. He died 7 years later to this day. His bones, the legend has it, were hot to the touch. Long ago, the Sisterhood of the Knot recounted the forge loved the hour called the Sun and Splendor. The Red Grail long anticipated their union, and the Grail priestesses prophesied it. The remainder of the text consists of gloating remarks by the Grail priestesses on the shaping that will come, interpolated with warnings and laments from those of the Sisterhood who serve the ring yew and especially the horned axe. Nevertheless, an invocation to the forge is included as part of an attempt to urge it onwards. And I think we've got a few copies of the shaping... No, we don't. All right. The proper words must be employed when the change comes. And we can use this to summon a Callagine, although we sort of already figured that out on our own. Okay, let me just double check here. So yes, these are the VAC texts. Everything else I think we've got. I don't really think I have any priority in terms of what I'm going to be reading. So we'll just jump straight into the Watchful Tantra. Notorious for its involvement in the deaths of David Jones and Meredith Blaine, two early physicists who each claimed to have the only copy and who ultimately fought a duel over it in 1840. Lock the study door, the work begins. Alright, the expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. We sadly got mystique rather than notoriety, but we kind of knew that was going to be happening. Okay, so we need to... hidden doors can be found with lantern or knock, as expected, and heart or lantern will suppress this curse, otherwise it will not keep us from our goal, but it may trouble us later. So, in this case, we'll send Pope Clifton and Slee, and that should deal with the challenge. Now I'm going to need to prepare for some health problems coming up. This illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I'm fully recovered. Cure your affliction with funds or vitality. Ah, and looks like I got some contentment after all. Or will be getting some contentment after all. I shouldn't be banking on that. Now, it did occur to me, one thing that I could have done to try and generate some contentment would have been to use a lot of mystique, and then that would have assured, in fact, perhaps that is what I said I was going to do at the end of last stream. But I could have made life a little bit easier for me with Leo by gobbling up all of the mystique, putting that into a painting, and then just leaving the notoriety to be consumed by the work that Leo was doing. So I guess the question now is, do I still want to try and do this? It seems worthwhile to me. I have 2 mystique. So basically, it's 1 in 3 chance that the notoriety is going to get picked up. We may be too late because it takes a minute and then it'll obviously gobble up its target later. But let's give it a shot. We'll almost certainly find this hidden door. The day is done, but so am I. I've earned my pay. So this will be going into dreams. The crowns of sleep, rumpled fields, the wink of a river, a tingling chill. Okay, so another mystique got picked up. Generally good news for me. And we have got the same text for the Watchful Tantra. So the Tantra describes processes of occult illumination, including a formula which may show the way from the Hunter's Gate to the Serpent Gate, which in the West is usually called the Spider's Door. So let's keep that in mind, right? We've already got the Stag Door to the Spider's Door. What's interesting here, of course, is that it doesn't actually say Stag Door. It's just kind of assumed here that you will have already... well, maybe, I guess it won't have assumed. So yeah, I suppose in this case here, you just need to parse out the Hunter's Door. It's called the Horn Gate or the Adept's Door, but it has yet to actually be called the Hunter's Gate anywhere here. But we'll just keep that in the back of our mind so that when we see the text, we'll see whether or not it's something that, had we played the game the first time, whether or not that's something that we would have been able to parse and turn into something that, that became an insight. Today is the dream of the labyrinth of doors. I should probably pick what I'm going to do with my work verb here. So I have 1 minute before... Okay, nope, I'm definitely going to be messing around with this. So I do have the danger that I'm going to generate some fascination out of this. I wonder if there's a way... I'm going to run this out for as long as I can. It means I won't be earning money, but I'll do my best. Ah, yes, restlessness. Well, okay, that's not so bad, actually, because I've got... I'll have an opportunity to paint with that. So I dreamt of opening doors, red doors, gold doors, doors of glass, and doors bound like books, and railway carriage doors, and castle gates. Behind one was something I seek. I woke with a slamming of doors still in my ears. So is there anything I want to do with my dream slot? Well, of course. Sorry, like I said, I'm actually recording this very late for me, so I'm, like I said, a little groggy. I'm going to do my best to try and keep the quality where it needs to be, but I am also trying to make sure that everything, everything kind of comes in on time. Okay, my illness has come for me. If I survive, I must taste the blood of our delight, and soon. If this illness cannot consume health or Savor's blood, it will kill you. So, no deliveries from Paul Samuelson. I'm still going to wait out the restlessness. Again, I want to try and come up with a balance in terms of things that the game might be throwing at me. Faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. Great. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. So, I mean, just as well that this was the one that was picked up. I obviously was asleep at the switch. But I do still need to paint, so Mystique goes in. Unless I, for some reason, thought that we would be done the expedition in time, but we certainly will not. So again, the risk here is fascination, but we should be able to deal with that before it becomes a threat. The standards of Daylight Society cannot apply to us, but perhaps we won't emphasize that point. Perhaps we'll rely on charm and good humor. I have supplied elegant platitudes about the high principles of our organization. If you're wondering when my cards just sort of stack up very nicely like that, it's simply a function. I'm just pressing the tab button. Alright, the Watchful Tantra. The sun has passed through the house and at the appointed time. Since the sun's division, the time has become uncertain. So we have the Fenian invocation, we've already got that, and I believe we also have the Rite of the Watchman's Sorrow. We do, so we'll watch the old one go away and get the new one back. And we're going to do another translation. So, in this case, the deeds of the scarred captain, painstakingly assembled by the soldier of fortune and sometimes remittance man Pavel Shuga during his years in Greece. Lock the study door, the work begins. Okay. So the Colonel is a fierce hour, but a power which knows light, and he has survived worse. His power will almost certainly protect us. And we did successfully eliminate the notoriety, so if I want to try and recover my work, this would be the time I should try and do it. Unfortunately, I think after the Colors of the Night, it might be just close enough to me finishing the expedition. Well, if that's true, maybe I should try it. Nope, it won't, because I need to beg for my job back and then do it, so. The sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. The world goes away. I shrink and grow pale, fatigue chokes my throat, I must ensure that my death serves a purpose. So here I think I'm just going to do the day job again. Magnificent work, I've created something both distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. Well, not exactly what I was looking for. So we did get fascination. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So there's the contentment that we were originally looking for. So we do have an extra mystique. That means that that's going to turn into a threat from... That's going to turn into a threat from the expedition. So we are going to throw Leo back into the charm job right away. But we did get 3 funds out of that, so... Okay, so we're back to the work site, and in this case, I should be able to take the Fleeting Reminiscence and use that to get rid of the fascination. Obviously, that wasn't something in the original game, but I can take advantage of that now. The biggest worry that I've got at the moment is the fact that I more or less had the Suppression Bureau taken care of, and this is going to get reopened again from the expedition. So our power is stronger than the power that was here. The curse won't touch us. So I could, of course, try and do the Mystique trick again, but that will just as likely translate into the weary detective picking up the wrong... or picking up the thing I don't want them to pick up. Alright, we've translated the work. What do we got for time? We should be good. And the Deeds of the Scarred Captain, an account of the founding of Mycenae by a scarred captain who first slew 7 monsters to make the land safe. And actually, it occurred to me I messed up reading the text from the previous work. So in this case, the implication that I would get here: the door of the eye navigates, he is not merciful, but first and always he illuminates. In this case, because it indicated it as a move up from the stag door, I just would have tried working the stag door and the resulting lore together. That's usually how I handle something like that. But there might have been something in the text that I just didn't pay attention to. I do feel like a bit of a goof doing that, but like I said, I've sadly recording it at an inopportune time, so I'm a little more scatterbrained than I normally am. Okay, so one of the Mystique's gone. This would sort of clear the decks for us, but the worry now, of course, is the fact that Leo's going to be warming up the job, whereas the notoriety is just going to be hanging out. So I think probably in the grand scheme of things, I should have actually delayed the charm offensive. But in this case, we'll just use the Callagine to get rid of the evidence. Day is done, and so am I, but I've earned my pay. So once again, we will throw our vitality at our problems. The other bit of good news is that we have the Course of the Heart, and so we don't need to worry about the next one. Although, I think I am just going to go back to the day's work. Just simply because I think it wouldn't be bad to have a little reserve of health to work with. Overall, though, our initial decision about whether or not to go to the Ecdysis Club, I think this was the right call. Not to waste the slot. We do want to do our expeditions. Behind the rotting tapestry of wolves and hunting men, a paneled wall. In the paneled wall, a secret door. The spring is long gone, of course. We had to smash it with hammers. Alright, well, there's the notoriety we were worried about. The last treasures of the Comte de Raveline lie here, in a surprisingly airy room. High skylight windows have long since broken. The floor is lost underneath leaves and debris, but once the place was furnished as a nursery. Here's a cradle with a skeleton of a puppy. Okay, there's my Callagines. A little early for what I want them to do, but we've got a Book of the True Blood. Book of True Blood. We've got the High Mysteries, the Innermost Chamber of our Church Solar. Both of those should be in languages that I can translate. Another Cinnabar amulet. Oh, nope, it was a Whispering amulet that I had, so that would be do I not have any forge items? Well, that's helpful. Great on oil, which we've got before. I would love to make the paintings, but I've not had a good opportunity to do so. And then the Morphe Codex. So this one actually would probably be a slightly higher priority, just it may give me slightly better lore. But we'll see what we can get. So the question now would be, do I want to risk another expedition right away? Excuse me. Or do I allow for, other possibilities? Do I use my explore verb for something else? Obviously, I could translate some of these items into cash. I don't really need to worry about cash right now, though. So I think we'll just go to the unnumbered stones. Now, this isn't going to get me anything in terms of books or whatnot, but I'm not too sad about that. Let's hang on to the Callagine still, and yeah, this is going to be tough. They're just going to sort of be dragging down their lifespan. We can't avoid that though. So Megalith placed an obsessive inerrant rose by priest casts long dead. Time has long erased the original bloodstains, but on moonless nights the locals supplement what remains. Hidden chambers might guard hidden treasures. So in this case, we'll definitely bring Pope Clifton along for this. As always, we throw a little money. Treasure seekers visiting the stones must penetrate the forest that conceals them, grapple with the locals who revere them, and finally be prepared to do some digging, even if they've confined the hidden door. So I'm thinking probably Moth and Lantern will help me out on this one. We will queue this one up. Now, I have let the run times get a little bit long here, so I think we are going to call that for an episode. Sorry that this is a little bit more of a muted one, but overall, our future plans are going to be clear through the expeditions that we have. I would like to get a few higher level lore for my my secret histories, just so I can make some decisions in terms of how to get the the higher quality lore. There is a couple of things that I could do as well to try and push things along, but let's try and be nice still. And the next episode, I think we're going to be dealing with my poison blood and just generally trying to digest the remaining. I guess it's 7 expeditions that we need to do, but I'll try and get those done quickly. In any case, thank you very much for watching. Please do leave a like or a subscription, or a notification bell, depending on which level of engagement you'd like for the channel. And I do continue to read the comments, so thank you very much for those of you who've been leaving them. I will see you all on Friday.